I'm live, didn't even know it. Chris Jenkins, credential member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. And tonight, this show is all about Ask Me Your Carolina Panthers question. I earned the nickname Man of the People. Why? Because I love working for fans. I love getting questions answered by players, coaches, whatever you need. I can't say I will get it, but I will do my best to do so. I'm the only media that goes live on video with the purpose of doing this. So I hope that you'll do me a big favor. Hit that subscribe button. Help me get to 6,000 subscribers. Tell a friend, hit the like button if you've already hit the subscribe button. The bigger I grow, the more subscribers I have, the more that I can do for you. All right, so now that we got that out the way, let me have a confession with you guys right now, everybody that's watching. I'm tired. I'm tired. I had a day trip that I went to New York yesterday to cover the Giants game. Dealt with some horrible, horrible nightmarish traffic. Dealt with some horrible, horrible service at the rental car place. That all goes to say I'm working on about maybe 5 hours of sleep, more like 4 hours of sleep. So, show tonight, we're going to cap it at 30 minutes. I hope you guys are understanding about that. Hey, future shows, I'm already lining them up. Still have special guests that are going to come on. So, hope you enjoy it. So, look, without further ado, let me see if I can find some music to talk over tonight. I got to put in my earpiece. I don't feel like doing that yet. So let me also tell you this, because, you know, it's a new season. Week 1 happened last week. Week 2, let me help get everybody up to speed. This is an interactive show. That's why I do this. Interactive. That's why it's live. Interactive, meaning, for the most part, I would love for when I put the link out there, which I'm going to do here in a moment, I want you all to come on the show, state your name if you wish, but certainly ask your question and then sign off. I want to see you. So I'm going to put the link out there in a second. That's the first way I really want to interact with everybody. You all get to see me and meet me. I want to meet my fellow Carolina Panther fans. And then secondarily, if you just maybe not in a position to do video, certainly leave a comment and I will address those and answer those. So that's enough blah, blah, blah. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Day after, Carolina Panthers have suffered yet again another defeat. This time in New York. You can say hats off to my man Graham Gano. He is not a personal friend, but I like to call these guys professional buddies. Not man. Kudos to Graham for having a good game yesterday. Let's go ahead and go over some of these comments. Welcome back. Chris says Ali Bodrick. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming and watching the show tonight. Got to tilt that camera angle. Do you see the same thing on what Cam Newton said about him noticing the players weren't buying in now this season? Okay, Ali, tell me what you're talking about. Because, you know, sometimes I do miss some things. And by the way, for the record, I think that my battery may die during this broadcast. If it does, give me like 30 seconds. I'll be able to swap it out. Tell me, Ali, tell me about the Cam Newton comments, because I hadn't yet heard about it. You know, had a lot of traveling that I was doing, but let me know. Let me know. I'm going to try to see if I can find it real quick. And if I can't, then yeah, tell me about those Cam Newton comments. All right, let me continue on. I was trying to read Cam's Twitter, but man, that thing is so daggone cryptic. I can't quickly read that and understand what he's talking about. All right. Choppy 71, what's up with Higgins? Rashad Higgins, yeah, he got 0 snaps yesterday, man. Rashad Higgins didn't get any snaps yesterday. I think Terrace Marshall had about 6 snaps or so. You know, you say Rashad Higgins, let's not forget to throw in Laviska Shenault. Hopefully I said his name correctly. But he's not even being active. So, excuse me, not all these wide receivers are getting some time in the game. And then let me just say this, you know, my opinion is this. Why are we worried about other receivers getting the ball when we don't even have that many yards that we're putting up? It's not like we getting like 400 yards passing, Baker's dropping back like 50 times. So why do we need to see Shard? Why do we need to see Terrace Marshall, right? If the guys that are starting aren't getting that many snaps and reps, and it's not like Baker Mayfield is out there just throwing darts to everybody. Now, I get it that it would be cool to see some other guys get an opportunity that you're cheering for, that you think has some potential. I certainly think, a guy like Terrace Marshall has some potential. I don't know much about Higgins. Seemed like a cool guy, but just like I thought Deshaun Smith deserves some snaps and some attention. He's getting an opportunity, but let's not forget that, how many times did Baker Mayfield pass the ball yesterday? He did not pass 1,000,000 times. To my point, let me try to bring this up, share it with you all. I know his passer rating wasn't that good. Let's see, New York Giants, Carolina Panthers. Here we go, box score. Baker Mayfield passed 29 times, which isn't, a small amount. And he completed just 14 of those. He completed less than 50% of his passes. So, yeah, there were some drop passes, right? I know that's where we're going, so I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge that. Yeah, there were some drop passes for sure by players. But DJ Moore yesterday, 3 receptions on 6 targets. DJ did not drop 3 balls. So, yeah, it would be nice if the targets that were being thrown to DJ, to Robbie and other guys were on point better to give them a good chance. And yes, additionally, Shi Smith dropping some balls, that doesn't help as well. But, hopefully we'll see these other guys in due time. I'm just not so terribly rushed to get other guys involved as much as I am to see this offense as a whole unit play better football. See the offensive line be able to account for those blitzes that are coming. See Baker Mayfield be able to account for those blitzes that are coming. See an offensive coordinator that, doesn't take forever to get Christian McCaffrey the ball, which he didn't do this past Sunday. He got Christian McCaffrey involved pretty early. But let's not forget about all the components that it takes to run this team. Appreciate you, Choppy. Appreciate you, Choppy. Let me also do something real quick right here. All right, just type a quick little note here. All right. Let me go back. You know what? I hadn't put it out there yet, so let me do this. I'm gonna go ahead and put the link out there for everybody to join the video. I don't know how to pin it, so sorry about that. I'll probably just keep putting it out there. But here's the link. Here's what we do each day that we have this show. Is we invite you all to come on the show with me, say your name, ask your question, and I'm gonna sign you off and respond to your question. So right now, let me type this out here. All right. There it is. Just created the link. So if you can join me, ask a question, I'd love for you to do so. Come online with me and let's talk. My man, Shaq. Shaq wants to know, why isn't Rhule not out? Well, I can't tell you, so when I tell you why Rhule isn't out, you don't have to like it. So, Shaq, I can't make you like why Matt Rhule is not out. I'm not out to make you like why he's not out. But here's my attempt at explaining why Matt Rhule is not out yet. Because I'm not even enjoying what's going on right now. But let me tell you my explanation, my 2 cents for it. It is only week 2. And I know we want to quickly say, but it's been 9 games that we've lost in a row. It has. And I think that should be part of the whole totality of the equation and dealing with things, right? But, and no, I see you signed on, so I'm going to come to you. But here's the deal with Matt Rhule. He just got a new offensive coordinator, Ben McAdoo. He got a new special teams guy, I think it's Chris Tabor. He has new defensive backs and Steve Wilkes. He has a lot of new pieces, a new offensive line coach. And he has even some new players, right? So I don't like that we're 0-2 by any means. Trust me, when I have to fly up to New York and go downstairs, I'm doing all this rushing to cover the team, and it's like you're dejected. Like, I get it. It is much more fun covering the team back in 2015, 16, 17 than it has been these last 4 years. And I want some more victories. But you got to give Matt Rhule more than 2 games to figure things out with his new coaching staff. If you're going to give him the coaching staff and give him an opportunity, 2 games isn't enough. But certainly, don't forget the totality of the situation with all the games that he's lost prior to then. All right, so I'm going to pin my spot here. And Noah, I'm going to bring you on. Give me a little thumbs up, Noah, if you can hear me okay. No, you did not give me a thumbs up. So if you can, give me a thumbs up to let me. All right, so give me 1 second because I forgot to put in my earpiece so there's not any feedback from us talking. Oh, man. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me just a second. But I know you don't want to. You guys will blast me in the comments real quick if you start hearing this echo from when I have them on here. I got my cords all tangled up. I wish I had somebody to blame it on, but I don't. It's all my fault that I don't have. Oh, it's not even plugged in yet. All right. Getting closer to you, Noah. I'm sorry. I see you getting your headphones on as well. So we should be good to go in just a split second here. Put this in here. Go right here. All right. Noah, you're on with me. Say something for me for a second.
Excellent. I am here.
There we go. Technology at its finest. I think this is is this your first time coming on?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, sir. If you don't mind, go ahead and tell me what's on your mind, or go ahead and vent.
Well, I'm up here in the dreaded Northeast Ohio triangle between Cleveland, Akron, and Youngstown. So you can pity me because I need it.
You have my pity.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. If you guys think the Carolina fans are in a bad mood, on the Cleveland podcasts, they are losing their minds. They, as I said in the comments, they probably should be put on suicide watch because they're crazy. They're calling out everybody. They're calling out Stefanski. They're calling out the OC and the DC. They're calling out players. They're calling out Myles Garrett, who was their darling, but not so much these days. They're calling out Denzel Ward. They have come to the conclusion that the league has figured out that their secondary has no clue what's going on. And that's how Carolina attacked them in the second half of last week. Unfortunately, it was a miracle field goal where we lost. But the Jets figured that out early. And they antagonized them. The secondary they were lost. You could tell when the Jets started bunching their receivers, they had no idea what was going on. And unfortunately, that game I could get. I couldn't get the Carolina game. I had to watch it on the ESPN little thingies. But I did listen to it, and it was unfortunate because, in essence, Carolina should have won that game. But it's becoming more and more obvious that the coaching is kind of lost for Carolina as well. I went through Hugh Jackson and 1-31 here in Cleveland, and total losses of 339-1. So yeah, I know the pain. Trust me, I know the pain. But good gosh, yeah, Matt Rhule and Snow, they don't make adjustments. They do things like a college team, and that's just not going to work.
Okay, I appreciate you. Hey, before you go, so what's the order of your fandom, if you will? Is it Cleveland's your number one team, and now the Panthers because of Baker? How do we get you on?
No. I kicked the Cleveland team to the curb earlier this year, and it absolutely had nothing to do with Deshaun Watson. Let me make that clear.
Okay.
He is not an issue. Whether they got him, whether they didn't, I don't care. My problem is with the owner, Jimmy Haslam. Um, he has mismanaged this thing from the very beginning. He has hired coaches that are not really supposed to be coaches. Kevin Stefanski was not Haslam's hire. That was AB's hire. And Stefanski's good, but he there's no emotions. And the team has taken on his attitude, his personality. He's very laid back. He doesn't get emotional. He doesn't get worked up. He doesn't get down or up. And the team kind of is following that. If they had anybody yesterday that had any fire at all, they wouldn't have lost that game, but they did. And with Carolina, although I didn't get a chance to see it, I listened to it and I listened to the live streams. It's pretty obvious that Matt Rhule and Snow, they're not adjusting. I mean, the first half was okay, but the second half they made no adjustments, and the Giants took care of it. And, you know, when you got a team that takes advantage of your mistakes because you don't adjust,
Right.
you know, you get what you get.
That's true.
So yeah, I'm not a Cleveland fan anymore. I kind of followed Baker to the Carolinas, so I have my NFC team is the Panthers, and my AFC team, still here in Ohio, is the Bengals. So
Okay.
am I a
Not
turncoat? I don't know. I don't. But then again, I really don't care.
Life is short.
Hey, I like your show, Chris. I like how you do this. I really appreciate your podcast. You do a good job.
Thank you very much for coming on, Noah.
Yeah.
I'm going to sign you off right now, but appreciate you coming on, giving us some perspective, Carolina Panther fans, for this misery that we're having to say, hey, other teams have it worse than we do. But I appreciate him coming on to the show. Appreciate everybody that has positive comments for me. I love what I do. I love working for you guys. So anytime, again, that you have a question, have some comments, you had the opportunity to share with me, let me know, and I will continue to do things. And there's lots more that's planned. Again, tonight I'm a little tired, so I'm not going to go the full hour, but we're going to give you a chance to vent, ask any questions that you may want. He spoke about adjustments not being made by this Carolina Panther team. Yeah, it's slow. It's slow. You know, we only had one touchdown this game. It was a field goal kicking contest. Was not too entertaining to watch. And though I'm certainly on board with the fact, though, hey, Chuba fumbled the ball. It wasn't Matt Rhule. Robbie fumbled the ball. It wasn't Matt Rhule. It's still something to say about, like, what kind of culture is going on? How is this happening where you're having breakdowns in the first half? And I mean, they're different about what they may be. So again, that link is out there. If you didn't see it, please feel free to click on it. Interactive show. I would prefer that, not prefer, but I would enjoy if you come on. If you don't see the link, just scroll on up a little bit. You'll see the link that says click here to join the show. Click on it. I'll bring you on. Love to have you ask a question. Until then, I'm going to work some more of the comments that were coming here. Let's see. Someone is not happy with Coach Rhule. Hope that he leaves here. That's fine. That's fine. No fad. All right, Noah. Think it's bad here in Carolina, the Cleveland Clown fans. Oh, you already came on, so we talked about that. Appreciate it, Noah. Appreciate it. Let's see this. Hey, Chris, were you able to watch the play that Burns didn't dive, trying to tackle Jones, bootleg play on 4th and 1? Shaq, no, I haven't had a chance to go back and watch that play. I promise you that I will go back and watch that play and give you my 2 cents on it. But just off the top of my head, I mean, I don't know if that was just one of those plays where maybe he ran out of energy. Like, I don't want to make excuses for the guy, for Brian, if that's what he did. He's a captain on this team. He's earned being a captain on this team. He tries hard. So, I'd like to see a little bit more of the tape and give you some more feedback. But just off the top, I tend to give Brian Burns the benefit of the doubt with his, position, being an all-pro, being a captain on the team, about that play right there. But appreciate you leaving your comment. Again, I'm inviting you all to come on the show. All right, Noah came on the show. He's a former Cleveland Browns fan joining the show, which I appreciate. Want you all to come and join the show as well, ask your questions. Locks Maine, I can always count on you to say something. And I always appreciate you coming on. They need to be run heavy. CMC carries for at least 8 to 9 and run the ball 40 plus times. So you're saying run the ball more? Well, we ran the ball 23 times yesterday. Christian had the ball 15 times. Now, I'm sure this was not part of the game plan. Baker Mayfield ran it 6 times, and Dante had 2 carries. So we could run the ball a little bit more. But, I will say this, Locks, and that is that we're trying to protect Christian McCaffrey. And we're not going to give him a ton of carries like what we've seen in the past, because we paid him a lot and we want to get the most mileage out of him that we can. You put him out there 25, 30 carries a game, then you're going to start to have some concern over the wear and tear on his body, because this guy's already had 2 seasons where he's pretty much not played. So I feel like a game like yesterday where they didn't have him, where he had 15 carries, played I think about 90% of the snaps, I think that's a good place. Now, different play calling, okay, yeah, we could talk about that, but unless we're going to get Dante Foreman more involved, I'm not a big fan of Chuba Hubbard, and that was before yesterday, then I think the balance is in a somewhat comfortable place. I just need to see, number one, better execution from the players and figure out what the heck was up with the scheme and allowing the New York Giants to just put so much pressure on Baker, play after play after play. I mean, I applaud the way that he was able to scramble and, kept trying to make something and didn't just heave, 50-50 balls out there as we might have gotten accustomed to seeing Sam Darnold do. But got to make some progress on that front for sure. All right, let me continue to go through some of these comments here. Cam was making comparisons. Okay, Allie, if you could get that full thing from Cam so I can comment on it. But right now, I couldn't find anything quickly on the internet about what Cam may have said. But I'll certainly go to address it if you could help give me a link or something like that. Panthers offense and defense are badly mismanaged. Yeah, it is. Baker can't carry a team. You guys have been asking me about Baker Mayfield, and I said that, hey, I haven't seen him enough yet. I need to see more. And I still can't say I have seen him completely enough, but I know that there was some talk out there about Baker's an improvement over Sam Darnold, but Baker's not a elite top 10 quarterback. I'm not willing to say that's exactly how I feel, but I feel like he may be in that situation for us where he's better than Sam Darnold, but he's not a top 10. He's not a Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, etc. He's kind of like right there in the middle. That's what I'm seeing so far. And with that, no, you can't carry a team. You got to be an elite quarterback to carry a team. Until we get more equity and pass run ratio, I'm more worried about running backs and focus on that part of the game. Okay. Yeah, so I guess maybe here's a little bit of the bottleneck, right? Baker threw the ball 29 times. Okay, in week 1, let's see here. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go to a different screen so I can talk about these stats a little bit more quickly. All right. So in week 1, Baker threw the ball 27 times. We ran the ball 19 times. A difference of about 8. In week 2, Baker threw the ball 29 times. And we ran the ball 23 times. So that number shrunk to a difference of 6. Now, albeit some of those rushes were by Baker. I mean, Baker this week, he had 6 rushes. In week 1, Baker had 5 rushes. So he's running as much as he did in week 1. And the margin between, or the difference between pass and run actually got smaller, Richie. So I'm not sure if you're saying how that equity needs to exist, that ratio needs to exist between pass and run, but right now it's close to 50-50. I think we just need better execution in whatever we do. If we're running the ball, give us good block protection, give us good run calls. If we're passing the ball, give us good routes, give us good hands, give us good passes. If we're doing special teams, catch the ball. Johnny Hecker, great old Johnny Hecker, he shanked the punt yesterday, and nobody's talking about that, and I'm not saying that should be the talk of the town. He's a Pro Bowler. He's an awesome punter, and he shanked the punt yesterday in New York. Didn't go very far at all. So there's execution across the board that needs to improve, and that's where I can go and say, all right, coaches, you got some good players. The standard, we got to make sure that the standard continues to be prevalent and shown. Brad Holt, do you think Matt Rhule has what it takes to be an NFL coach? I feel like you're trying to set me up with that question. Let me put this link back out there. Give me just 1 second, because I want people to join and ask questions. All right, so give me just a second. It's on the screen right now. You can't click on it, but if you scroll up, you got a moment to come on the show. I'd love for you to come on the show, ask a question. You all get to see me. I want to see you. Please consider doing that, all right? So let me go ahead and go back to that question. Do I think what Matt Rhule has what it takes to be an NFL coach? Let me see if I can go back to that. All right. Do I think Matt Rhule has what it takes to be an NFL coach? I mean, that's like an unfair question to ask while the guy's in the middle of a 9-game losing streak, right? I can't sit here right now with them losing 9 games and say, yes, absolutely, Matt Rhule has what it takes. Because then you're going to be like, well, if he has what it takes, then why are we losing? I feel like he could be an NFL coach, right? But he ain't got it all together right now. Okay, so if I just want to live into the moment of right now, I mean, there's plenty of it, guys that are in the NFL to get coaching opportunity after coaching opportunity. So do I feel like he should be able to get another one after this one? Sure. He's been at the level. Why not give him a chance? You give so many other guys chances, and so many great guys don't get chances. But I think I'm about to go in a soapbox. I'm just going to defer this question to say, I appreciate the question, Brad, but I feel like that's a tough question to answer right now while he's in the midst of this losing streak. I'm a reporter, but I do hope that this Carolina Panthers team turns it around. And if Matt Rhule can do it, great. I'm not cheering against him, but if he can do it while he's currently in that position to do so, I'm all for it. Rhule keeps saying that we need to run the ball more, yet we never do. We did run the ball more. Cam Newton was making comparisons on what he saw in the locker room as far as the players versus the locker room during the Ron Rivera days. Yeah, Ali, I don't know if you got a second to come on, but here's the thing. Locker rooms change, of course, based on the guys that are in that locker room. And absolutely, locker rooms change if you get a new head coach. Whether to say one's right or wrong is just like the comparison of just because a cornerback isn't mouthy and talking a lot and flashy doesn't mean that he can't be a good running back. It's cool to see, it's very entertaining, but a cornerback can be not mouthy, not flashy, and just shut people down and still be a good cornerback. He doesn't have to be a trash talker and the such. So the locker room is going to be different, but you certainly want people in there that want to win. Bottom line, people that want to win, people that have that grit. Appreciate you, Allie. Relieve Baker and Icky by running the ball. Richie, how much do you want to see them run the ball? So as far as where David Tepper is, we might see him, but I mean, hey, he's obviously not a Jerry Jones type of owner, right? He's not going to be over the day-to-day operations. He's not going to be talking to the media all the time. It is what it is. Do I feel like he should be around more? I know fans would appreciate hearing what he has to say, but he's not. I think it would be good if he was around more to say some things and could even help put some heat on Matt Rhule by, saying, hey, I'm not happy with where things are. And Matt, I'm talking if I'm David Tepper, hey, I'm not happy with where we are. Some things need to change, and Matt knows that. He's my coach right now, and I want us to win. Say something, right? But, yeah, what I can tell you is this: we're not going to suddenly get a David Tepper that's in front of the media a lot. And I can say that with a lot of confidence, all right? Read between all those lines, all right? David Tepper is not going to be a guy that suddenly is in front of the media talking about this team every single week. All right, continuing to move on. Some comments about Coach Rhule's winning percentage. Yeah, he doesn't have a good one. Oh, yeah, there is a game on early tonight. So usually I always do this show at 7 o'clock to beat the Monday Night Football. But tonight there's 2 games. So, there's a game coming on. Okay, Choppy, I get you. You want to see Rashard Higgins? He was Baker's best receiver in Cleveland. I get it. But, Baker's connecting with these other guys too. I was actually watching the game yesterday, and I said, hey, does Baker have a problem just finding one receiver during the game and just focusing on that receiver? Because I felt like he kept trying to go to Shi Smith. But then I sat there and I looked at the stats, and I can even share this with you guys. No, Baker does a pretty good job of spreading the ball around. DJ Moore, your number 1 guy, DJ Moore, 6 targets. Robbie Anderson, who's your number 2 guy, 5 targets. Christian McCaffrey, 5 targets. No. Oh gosh, darn it. No, I'm getting all confused. Sorry. Let me try this one more time. DJ Moore, your number 1 receiver, got 6 targets. Robbie Anderson, your number 2 receiver, with 5 targets, and then Shi Smith with 6 targets. Now the big problem with Shi Smith is that he was targeted 6 times. He only had 1 reception, and had 2 yards. 2 yards total. So he's getting the ball around to a lot of different guys very consistently. We just still got to execute on some other areas a whole lot better. Definitely just got to execute a whole lot better. Ever since we got Baker, I've never seen so many Cleveland guys. Yeah, Locks, that's true. But I say hats off to Baker. Hats off to the Cleveland fans that are following Baker. Just shows how much they like the guy, how much, we in Carolina love how, forget the word is, but how so much influence came with having Cam Newton on your team. And hey, now we got one in Baker Mayfield. So while he's here, let's celebrate it. Celebrate it. All right, Jay Hines. I like your picture. Stop making excuses for Rhule, Chris. It's not like we got all these new pieces because we were successful and they left. The staff is new because we suck and they keep firing people. So Jay, so if the guy is not successful, you want to just keep doing the same thing? You got to. Now, I'm not saying that you need to like Matt Rhule and suddenly fall in love with him based on these comments here. But don't they say the definition of insanity is like when you go to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, right? Matt Rhule said, hey, my job's in jeopardy. I got to win. And I give him credit for that. Joe Brady, you're out of here. Put his buddy, I forget the guy's name, in that position for the rest of the year. And then when this year came around, guess what? He didn't try to keep doing something for his buddy. He got a new guy. He got Ben McAdoo. He got Steve Wilkes. He got Chris Tabor. And they got a lot of guys. So that's what you're supposed to do when something's not working, is get new pieces in there, because you do know that something's wrong. Otherwise, if we went to the Super Bowl last year, then yeah, you keep the pieces. Hey, it's working. But, Matt Rhule, not saying give him credit for being a great coach, but give him credit for doing what you should do, which is change up things to try to get some better results. Appreciate you, Jay Hines. Appreciate you. Let's see. Hey, so gonna say one thing about this channel here. This is not a channel where we use slander and profanity. I'm not saying that we all have to be nice and best friends and sing kumbaya, but hey, it's a platform to give everybody a voice, and I don't care who comes on the show, as long as they're kind, courteous, and respectful. Let's treat them with some respect, even if we disagree with their opinion. All right, Richie, appreciate you as well, Richie, for being on here, okay? Steven, hold on, let me get a drink of water here. Jay Hines, I see you. You're going to come on in just a second. All right, so Steven said, what is the answer to right the ship in Carolina? I like the change that Ben McAdoo made with getting Christian McCaffrey more involved and not just sitting him on the bench and saying, hey, we can win with Christian McCaffrey just playing sporadically, like the other guys are anywhere near the skill level of Christian McCaffrey. So our offensive line needs to get better with what they're doing. We also need to be aware of what our offensive line can do and make sure that we're calling things within that realm. All right, so maybe if you know that they're blitzing a lot and you're about to be in a pass situation and you know they're going to continue to blitz, okay, maybe you still do need to pass. But let's do something creative with the protection where we might have Baker kind of roll out a little to the other side, just a little bit more. Make sure that Baker has maybe a 5-step drop instead of a 3-step drop. Make sure that the routes are giving him a chance to get the ball out of his hands quickly, because you know that you have a rookie at left tackle. So you gotta do some of those things on the offensive side, and not to mention you gotta catch the ball. You gotta catch the ball. On the defensive side, we actually had a pretty good defensive day stopping Saquon Barkley. I mean, I think the guy had less than 5 yards in the first half. You can't expect to hold a guy like that to that kind of performance the entire game. But what happened with the defense was suddenly it's like a new problem reared its head, and that we couldn't stop them on third downs, and then we couldn't stop them when it mattered the most. And that reminds me of my conversation, I think, with Steve Wilks. So I'm trying to remember 100% who said this so I can say it correctly for you all. I know it was a conversation that I had with Steve Wilks, and it was about, I think it was about, it essentially meant creating turnovers, right? So he was talking about, okay, yeah, it's good to have good red zone defense and stop them from scoring 6. But really the next level of doing that in terms of being a good defense is still not let them get any points on the board. Okay, yeah, you stop them from getting 6, but let's stop them from kicking the field goal. So how can the secondary do that? How can the defense help stop them from getting 6? Well, creating turnovers. They haven't been able to create turnovers, and that's something that Steve Wilks, when I talked to him down in Spartanburg, said they need to do. So, that would help us significantly on the defensive side if we're able to create some turnovers and just prevent them from scoring altogether. So, a few ideas for you there, Stephen. Hope you appreciate that. Let me continue to work through some more of these comments. Oh, and Stephen, with the $1.99 contribution, thank you so much. Hey, here at Charlotte Vibe, I don't have any big sponsors. All the money's coming from your donations, your super chats, your cash apps, whatever you have to give, I appreciate it. It's welcome. Me being an independent media allows me to do a lot of cool things like these shows, like the lives after the game, live pre-games, and then just say, hey, I work for you all, what do you want? But the disadvantage is I can't have any sponsors with that. So anytime you all are able to donate, I appreciate it sincerely. It helps. That's the only way I run. So anytime you can, appreciate it pretty much. So I only have a few minutes left here, so I'm going to be a little bit picky with the comments that we go over. And hey, if we keep getting a lot of comments like this, I'm gonna figure out a way to make sure I get through the comments quicker and make sure that everybody that takes the time to join my show, because I really appreciate it, that I have a chance to touch on your questions, all right? Because it's really important to me that I do so. All right, I don't think I've had a comment from Hill Joe 17. I certainly feel like we are too thin at front seven. Next year's draft should be all defense again. Yeah, we wanted some help. You know, we got a big body in there. And Anderson? Oh man, I'm losing the guy's name. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Appreciate you coming in and leaving a comment here. Marcus 78, would you want to play hard for this coaching staff? That is just my opinion. Hey, you got to play hard for that check. You got to play hard for that check. These guys are getting paid a lot of money. And if you're not smart enough to know, like, hey, whether my coach is doing what I would like him to do or not, this is a business. I got mouths to feed. I'm playing hard for at least my check, right? Appreciate the comment there, Hill Joe and Marcus 78. Chance, I don't think I had a comment from you, so I'm going to go over this. We need to get Shi Smith out of there. Need steady hands for 3 wide receivers. Need to give another wide receiver a shot. So, Shi Smith this week. Shi Smith this week. One catch. I'm sorry. Week 1, Shi Smith, 1 catch, 3 targets. I don't remember how many of those were drops. Shi Smith this week, 1 catch on 6 targets. Man, I don't know of a website, and I don't want to take up time from the show to talk about what the drops were. Something to think about with Shi Smith and what's going on with him. Number one, yes, absolutely yes. He needs to catch these balls. You're a professional athlete with a job of catching the ball. That's all you do is practice catching balls. So he absolutely needs to pick it up and get better. But if Robbie Anderson, who's been in the league for years, can have a season like last year where he had drops a lot, and he stayed as a number 2 wide receiver the whole year, giving him a chance to get it together, and he's still on the team right now with a chance to get it together, and he had a fumble, then why can't Shi Smith have an opportunity to get it together as well? He's in his second year. He's second year. He beat out Terrace Marshall for a reason. He's had extremely good camps. He had an extremely good camp last year. Need to stay healthy, didn't. Had an extremely good camp this year, and now we're seeing him stay healthy but have some trouble with the ball. I'm not ready to say, Shi Smith, get out of there. But I will absolutely say, Shi Smith, let's get these hands together, because you're here for a reason. You're ahead of Terrace Marshall, who was drafted higher than you for a reason. So calm down. Get that same mindset that you got during practice and make sure that you're catching the ball. Don't let the moment get too big for you. Hey, Chance, I appreciate your question, man. Appreciate your question very much. Hopefully you'll continue to come on and join us in the future. Donald Duck, I don't think I've had a comment from you, so let me go ahead and address Donald Duck. When we lose next Sunday, the stadium better start chanting, nah, 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 hey, hey, goodbye. Diva Tepper will hopefully get the message if he can swallow his pride for once. So I agree with you, Donald. You know, if this continues, David Tepper has to do something. Absolutely has to do something. I'm not against that at all. I don't feel like it's going to happen next week. Again, next week it'll only be 3 games. You want to get this staff more than 3 games. I think at the extreme least, you give him a quarter of the season. And think about this: when you make changes to the coach so early, is that coach that you put in his position going to be the coach that you want to have for the rest of the season? And you don't know how much you want to shake that stuff up with so much to go. You've heard Baker talk about, hey, well, it's 2 games, we still got 15 more. We still do have a lot of football to go, and there's time to get this corrected. Hamtastic, I don't think I got one of your comments. I just want to know why Baker couldn't feel the rush. I think he could feel the rush. That's why he was running so much. He was asked if he felt like he was running for his life. Baker felt it. Baker was running, so I'm not sure exactly the nature of the comment there. Benjamin Farmer, appreciate you coming on. What about Rhule saying there's no need for change after the game? Then said today Higgins and the guys need to play more. He's confused. So, yeah, why do you say one thing one day and another thing the next day? So certainly part of that could be evaluation. So certainly some of that could be talking with the other coaches. I don't know why he would pivot so quickly and saying like, yes. And I haven't exactly seen his comments today to see the full context of it. Let me put your question back up there while I'm answering it. There's no need for change, but then, yeah, some of these other guys. Like last week he said that Terrace Marshall had a good week, so he feels like he's going to have a chance to play. Rashard Higgins has done well. And he said LaVisca Chenault that he wanted him to get up to speed with the playbook. And he hadn't got up to speed with the playbook. He wasn't even active for the game against the Giants. So, yeah, I'm just going to say I appreciate your comment there, Benjamin. I appreciate it. See if there's any new questions that I didn't take care of. I don't think I've had one here today from Panther Snow. We need to take care of the ball. That'd be extremely helpful if we did take care of the ball. All right, then we're gonna go here. Ken the Seeker, 10-25. Yeah, that's his record. 1-25 in games in which team scores 17 plus on those. Rhule was touted as an analytics guy. Well, analytics says Rhule is not the guy for this job. Hey. I'm laughing so much I had to take a drink from my cup of water because, yeah, that's a pretty good one. He's not been succeeding at his job. Absolutely. He's not been succeeding at his job. He needs to do more. He needs to do better. He's unarguably on the hot seat, and he deserves to be on the hot seat. Will he get it together in time before he's fired? I don't know. I'm not against Matt Rhule and saying like, oh, I think he can never, ever get it right. I'm not saying close games mean that you win, but he hasn't lost control of the locker room. He did things like make changes to his coaching staff, and I like the coaching staff changes that he made. He made some personnel changes. So I don't feel like he's just completely, what are you thinking? But I do say he's not figured out enough yet to be successful, and that's what he needs to do. And yes, he obviously can't win the close games. He can't. And that's maybe he needs to call Ron Rivera, because Ron Rivera was on the verge of being booted out of here. And then guess what? Riverboat Ron was born. He said, man, I can't keep being this conservative. And it changed. It changed the whole Carolina Panthers team outlook. He still didn't win consistently. Like each season, he'd have a good season, bad season, good season, bad season. But there was that moment where he said, I can't keep losing these close games. Maybe Matt Rhule could benefit from that. So, hey, that's all that I have time for tonight. I really, really appreciate it. As you see below, we're supported 100% by our viewers. So anytime you have a chance to donate, Super Chat, Cash App, please do so. That allows me to do what I love to do, and working for you and working the way that serves you all as my viewers. So hopefully that can continue. Panthers are off tomorrow, which means likely No updates from me tomorrow unless there's some breaking news. I know some of you saying, yes, break the news about Rhule getting fired. So unless something like that happens, you all can count to see me again back Wednesday as the Carolina Panthers start preparations to take on the New Orleans Saints, their first divisional game that's here at Bank of America Stadium. So I will be there covering it. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. As always, hit the subscribe button if you can. The bigger I grow, the more I can have players and coaches on the show and ask them the questions that you want to hear them answer. All right. Lots of fun tonight. Appreciate it. Time to go watch some TV, I wish. Time to go hang out with the family. Hey, Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe. Take care.